be successful. The health ministry study, which put the possible number of COVID positive cases in India at upwards of 8 lakh, between 8 lakh and a million, Arnab, had the lockdown not been there, was not scaremongering. It was based on facts. It was done by scientists, not by bureaucrats and statisticians, and a whole lot of study went into it. So let's believe these people who are experts and not go by profit motives, not go by hunch. We had an industrialist talking about or hectoring the government for thinking that the people were fools. It's not about being fools. It's not about being smarts, because had it been about smarts, America would not have been the epicenter and global hotspot of COVID as of today. So I believe all these thoughts would be weighed in by the Prime Minister when he comes out and makes that address. He has hinted that livelihoods also need to be taken care of, but that's a given. You know, supply chains have not been hit. I was reading some facts. As many as upwards of 7 lakh wagons of trains have moved in all these 21 days. Almost 150 flights of essential commodities, including medicines, going across the country. Maybe more of that can be done to make sure that there are no food riots. None have happened, by the way. Almost 3 to 5 crore people have been fed by government and civil society. So that's the way in which the nation has really come together.
So
and I believe the Prime Minister would commend the people for having done that.
Let's go across to our reporters before we got 19 minutes to go. We got 19 minutes to go. Let's quickly go across to all our reporters. I want to highlight, viewers, before we go across to our reporters here, that what the Prime Minister is likely to do, what I expect him to do, Shravan, is that he will highlight the need for a lockdown continuing. He will say that I'm going to be working to try and bring you relief in a phased manner. And that he's going to say we'll keep making periodical announcements and we'll review the situation dynamically. We'll keep letting you know. But I don't think... I think it's futile for anyone to expect that the Prime Minister will tell us the phasing of that extension, because it's too early to do that.
Well, in fact, as far as Maharashtra government is also concerned, remember they have been advocating for a full lockdown, essentially because the real impact of the Tablighi Jamaat is something that even every state government is assessing at this point in time, because till early last week, the number of Tablighi Jamaats who were still missing was roughly about 500, and that number is huge. And that is the reason why states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra have been extremely worried, because their maximum number of Tablighi Jamaats have come from their states. And they are saying that we still need to understand, assess the damage that has been created, and that's going to take some time, because unless people come forward, unless they report before the police, it is going to take some time to understand the contact mapping that is still being done by various states like Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, and that remains one major concern for a lot of states, at least the states that I have spoken to, from where Tablighi Jamaats have essentially come from, and that remains one of the top priorities for a lot of governments, because at this point in time, all that can flatten the curve is 100% lockdown.
Absolutely, it is. This is what we were mentioning actually recently, and I'd like to go across to Piyush. Piyush, where are you reporting from this morning, and what's the situation you see in the NCR region? Particularly, Piyush, Shravan mentioned about
that the full impact of the Tablighi Jamaat cases will come in this week. This week that we are...
cases will come in this week that we are in right now. And the reason I said that is because there were thousands and thousands of Tablighi Jamaat members who were in quarantine. There were about 25,000 people who were contact traced because of the Tablighi Jamaat episode. And their test results, those who are showing symptoms, etc., are turning positive now. That is what we saw in Delhi yesterday, for example, Piyush. So on the Tablighi Jamaat and how the NCR is looking at it, can you give us your inputs this morning?
Well, Arnab, what we are picking is that around 47 containment zones have already been identified by the government, in which the areas have been sealed and only essential commodities are being allowed to give to the people. I am reporting from one of the containment zones, which is very much near to Moti Bagh, and Nizamuddin area, from where the Tablighi Jamaat people had also come out, is also not very far from this very place. And the government, after identifying these hotspots, is sanitizing the entire area. But what is more important needs to mention here is that the maximum maximum cases, around 70% cases in national capital also are linked to these people who attended a Tablighi Jamaat event in Nizamuddin. So this somewhere tells us the kind of spreading of cases took place after that event took place, not only in Delhi but also in different parts of the country. What we're picking that in few minutes from now, when Prime Minister will speak, he will lay out a roadmap as to how the government is going to deal with the situation, and also people are awaiting for that particular moment to come, because today officially 21 days lockdown is coming to an end, and there are some governments who want relaxation, like Delhi government has also implemented odd even schemes as far as distributing of food, of fruits and vegetables are concerned, because the markets have been allowed to open. If we talk about vegetable markets, they have been allowed to open in the morning from 6 a.m. till 11 a.m. and fruit market will be opened from 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. So there are some relaxations which the government want to give, and similar relaxations UP government in Delhi NCR area also wants that to happen. So there are some certain provisions which the government wants that will be.
As I go across to Prakash also, who is in Patna. Prakash, I want a sense from you on how
Patna. Prakash, I want a sense from you on what the situation is like in Bihar, and what is on Nitish's mind. What are the kind of COVID spikes that you've seen in Bihar? And as we wait for the lockdown extension by the Prime Minister, as I go across to Prakash in Patna, let me say this, viewers. There are times when we need to take decisions in the national interest. Please understand, there is no need for a graded lockdown measures right now, because that only fills the pockets of India Inc. All industries that are needed at this point of time to keep our society going, to keep your homes going, to keep the lockdown going, are already functioning. They are forming part of the supply chain of crucial products that has been allowed. So heavy electrical items are allowed, power looms are allowed, seed processing is allowed, even defense units are allowed. Everyone else who's trying to get in edgeways is being hypocritical, and everyone else who's trying to sort of also put themselves in the queue of essential items when they are not, are people who are working against national interest, and they must be fought. Prakash, what is the situation in Bihar, in Patna? What are the numbers looking like? Are there any specific clusters which are more worrying than others?
Well, Arnab, Prime Minister has already hinted that 3 to 4 weeks are very critical, and the extension of lockdown is possible. And as far as Bihar is concerned, we have seen a spike in the cases of corona positive in specific areas of Siwan, where I visited a couple of days back. There are 29 cases reported from one village, that is Panjwar village, and one person from Gulf infecting 23 of his family members and other 6 people in different areas. And in other areas in Patna, Nalanda, Nawada, Munger, there were positive cases. Now, as far as Bihar is concerned, we have already come to know that the Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has suggested to the Prime Minister that villages should be exempted. And in the last meeting with the Chief Minister, Prime Minister also suggested that Jaan bhi and Jahan bhi, in the sense that the world should continue and India should keep on progressing because we have economic distress and the rural economy has to flourish. Now, keeping in mind the fact that every state has its own sets of issues. Maharashtra, where you are sitting right now, has its own issues. Bihar has its own issues. Bihar has migrant laborers also. And there is a food crisis as well, because the social organizations are roping in as of now. I don't know how long they can continue like this, and the government has limited resources. But we'll have to wait and watch what kind of leeway does the Prime Minister give. It is a complete lockdown, or he gives some leeway to the industrial houses, because...
Okay, we're going to go in for a very, very short break right now. Viewers, we are 12 to 13 minutes. I'm going to be back in a couple of minutes. Before I go into the break, all I'll say is this. Please, viewers across India, we cannot afford to lose out now. We are at the cusp of the COVID battle's biggest moment. We have evaded so far stage 3 of the lockdown, of the COVID crisis, because of the lockdown. Can we afford to lose out because some people have lost their restraint? Because some people are determined not to have a resolve? Absolutely not. In states like Kerala, we are seeing how the day-to-day spike has not crossed over 5% in the last 1 week. Fantastic results. Fantastic. Virtually flattening the curve there in Kerala. So how can there be any response or restraint fatigue now? This is an important time. We are all